It's time for a special program called The 11th Hour. This weekly program will shed light on important issues in our area and the positive steps we're taking to combat them.
Good morning. You are listening to your local radio station, WMOA. Welcome to the 11th Hour, brought to you by the Washington County Behavioral Health Board. I am Shaylee Sprague, and my guest today is Abby Kraft from Life and Purpose Behavioral Health.
Good morning.
Good morning, Abby. So I have Abby on today. August 31st is International Overdose Awareness Day. Just to inform everybody, this is a global event that aims to raise awareness that overdose death is preventable, and we aim to reduce stigma associated with drug-related death. Abby, like I said, is at Life and Purpose Behavioral Health, which is one of our behavioral health providers in Washington County. And we want to just thank her for her time today and allow her to share a little bit of her story. So, Abby, I know you've been on the 11th Hour before.
Yes.
But it's been a little while. So do you want to kind of give some people some background?
Yeah. I'm from Marietta. I was born and raised in Marietta. And so I, started when I was in high school, I started experimenting with drugs and alcohol, and my addiction progressed into prescription pain pills. And by the time I was 17, I was a senior in high school, and I had been introduced to heroin. So I did somehow graduate high school, and then my disease just, progressed. So between 18 and 21, I was in and out of jail, and eventually my legal charges landed me in prison. So I was in prison for about 7 months, and that's when I knew that I was done and I was ready to do something to change my life. So when I came home, I got involved with a 12-step fellowship, and that is where I got sober. So that's been about 5.5 years ago now. So like Shaylee said, I work at Life and Purpose Behavioral Health, where I am a peer recovery support specialist, and I get to help people just like myself find recovery.
Thank you for sharing, Abby. So with that said, I know you touched briefly that your time in prison is kind of what sparked your recovery process. Would you mind just sharing like what you did to strengthen your recovery? I know you mentioned the 12-step program, but what do you share with others through your position at Life and Purpose?
So for me, what I think made the biggest kind of turn in my life was I literally cut out every person from that previous life. And I really focused on surrounding myself with people that were kind of on the same journey as me. And I knew that was what was going to propel me into my goals and my future in my recovery. So the fellowship is a very important piece of recovery. So I always encourage people to get involved and find their group of people that they can connect with and relate to, and, kind of find a family there.
Yeah. So do you mind sharing which fellowship you were involved in? Is it local?
Yeah. So, they have Alcoholics Anonymous and Narcotics Anonymous that is local to most cities. So I know that the Behavioral Health Board always does a resource guide, and we here at Life and Purpose have resources. So it's easily accessible to find a meeting locally to you.
So what coping skills did you turn to early in your recovery, when you were trying to abstain from use?
Like I said, the 12 steps really was my guide, and things that I learned through working the steps is what I was able, those are the things I was able to implement into my everyday life and I was able to use those through any situation. Things that I learned and things that other people taught me is really how I was able to overcome just every day obstacles, because like I said, I started using at such a young age that I kind of like missed out on like a key part of life. And so I really, really just leaned on other people in the fellowship that were able to, help me through the trials.
Yeah. Do you want to provide maybe an example that people listening could apply or maybe help a loved one?
Yeah, so I think that if there's anybody listening that is personally struggling with addiction or has a loved one that is struggling, I would just encourage you to reach out to someone that can understand what you're going through. I know I personally get it, and my husband and I do a lot of outreach work in our personal time, and that's also helping like family members. So there's just, I think that people, I know for myself, I struggled like trying to reach out. I didn't think that anybody understood me or understood what I was going through. And I know that my mom also struggled because she thought that she was alone also. And so there really is just power in connecting with somebody that can understand what you're going through.
I think your experience is very valuable in connecting with people locally.
Yeah.
I just want to acknowledge that you do a great job.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
So do you have any last thoughts on hope and recovery? I know you kind of touched just now on connecting and
yeah,
out to people, but
so what I always like to tell people is that no matter what you have been through, no matter what you have done, there's always hope. If you're still breathing, there's hope. Like you can always turn your life around. It doesn't matter how far you have gone. There's always hope. There was a time where I thought that I was, living out my destiny as a drug addict, and that was the only thing that I was going to be able to do with my life. And I could have never dreamed that I would be in the position that I am right now. So there's always hope, always, no matter what. That's what I like to tell people.
Thank you. That gave me chills. So the website for Life and Purpose Behavioral Health is www.lifeandpurposebehavioralhealth.com. That's spelled out. And their phone number, 740-376-0930. I also wanted to provide to you the information for the Washington County Behavioral Health Board, who is providing you with this radio show today. And their website is wcbhb.org, or you can call us at 740-374-6990. Thank you for listening to the 11th Hour.
Thanks for listening to the 11th Hour, a service of the Washington County Board of Behavioral Health. Tune in next Friday at 11:05 a.m. right here on WMOA for another edition of the 11th Hour.